All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies class, I've been creating a series of video presentations based on the Mozilla Developer Network Learn Web Development series. I'm in the JavaScript section. Near the end, we're talking APIs, and I'm in the Manipulating Documents section. So far we've looked only at using node and document features to manipulate documents, but there's no reason we can't get data from other sources. All right, you just have to make sure your data is in the right format. JavaScript makes it easier than other languages because it's weakly typed. Again, it's very, very forgiving. For example, it says numbers will convert automatically to strings when you want to print them to the screen. In this example, we will solve a common problem, making sure your application is as big as the window it is viewed in, whatever size that window is. This is often useful in situations like games, where you want to use as much of the screen as possible to play in. All right, to start with, make a local copy of window resize. So let's grab that, and I'm going to throw it in the document that I have been using. Which is right here. All right, so there that is. Notice there's no JavaScript in here yet. There is some CSS, and there's nothing in the body but an empty div and empty script tags. All right. And also get the BG tile thing here. So let's right mouse click on that. Let's save the image as, make sure it's out in the desktop, and it's BG tile. There that is. Okay. Open it and have a look. You'll see you've got a div covering a small part of the screen which has got a background tile applied to it. We'll use this to represent our app UI area. Well, let's see if indeed that worked. Save and refresh. And there it is. Okay, so far so good. First, let's grab a reference to the div. Well, that's this line right here. And then grab the width and height of the viewport, which is here and here, and store them in variables. These values are handily contained in the window.innerLength, inner width, and window.innerHeight properties. Add the following lines inside of your script tag. Okay. Now, I'm not going to rerun this because if I do, so far at least, it's not going to do anything different. It's going to look exactly the same as it had looked. Okay. Jumping back then. Next, we'll dynamically alter the width and the height to equal that of the viewport. Sorry that I keep pausing this, but as I said, it's allergies. Okay. So let's add this. Come back to here, refresh, and you can see that it's taking what it's taking up here. And as I go in and shrink that, I'm not sure. Let's double check here. Let's go and do this. So let's come in and do this. There we go. And you can see how much of the screen that it's taking up. All right. Says you should now see the div becoming as big as your viewport, and that's what I just showed you. You can see that the div always stays the same size. We are only setting it once. How about we use an event so that it resizes it as we resize the window? So it really wasn't changing size, but we wanted to. All right. The window object has an event available to it called resize, which is fired every time the window is resized. Let's access this. So add the following to the bottom of our code. Now let's see if that's changed anything. Back to here and refresh. Doesn't look any different there or there, but let's look at it here. If you get stuck, have a look at the finished resize example. All right, in fact, I should just be able to do the running example of it. Pretty much is what I've got, I believe, at least. All right, now with this active learning, all right, normally I don't go through these, but I am going to go through it with you because this is an excellent example. And I'm just going to take their finished application. We're going to break it down and look at it. So to round off this article, we'd like to set you on a little challenge. We want to make a simple shopping list. This could be a shopping list, a to-do list, etc. You could make it anything you want it to. It allows you to dynamically add items to a list using a form input, which is right here, and a button, which is right there. When you add an item to the input and you press the button, the item should appear in the list. Each item should also have a button that allows it to be deleted. And the input should be emptied and focused for you to empty and put in your next item. So right there. So let's do this. I'm going to grab all of this that's in there, and I'm going to put it in. I've already created a thing, and I just called it shopping list. I'm going to put this at the top, and I'm going to put it in as an HTML comment. All right, and we'll put that about right here. And then we'll break it down and take a look at it. It's going to be, I'm going to have to do a little manipulation here because I want it where you can see everything that's going on in here. All right, that's probably good enough right there. But like I said, I want to be able to have us walk through this. Okay, so to start with, download a copy. I've already done that, and make a copy of it somewhere. Okay, you'll see that it has the minimal CSS, a list, and a label. So in other words, it doesn't have any of the JavaScript code built into it. So I'm going to just grab this. Right now it is totally operational, but this is what you get by default. Okay. Now I can't add this. I can add nothing if I want and then remove them as well. But you'll notice two things about this. All right. Number one, we've got the add item, and each one of these has got their own delete. All right. So if I come through here and I write, this is supposed to be a shopping list. So let's say I want to buy, I don't know, coffee. All right. And I add that. Boom. I've got coffee. And I can delete it at any time. Right now, there is no mechanism in here. We really should add another button that says something like rather than delete, maybe edit. And when we edit it, we should put it in there. Wouldn't that be nice? Because then we can make edits to it as well. So let's take a look at everything that we have here. Okay, I'm going to remove a couple of these things that are here right now. Just got a lot of junk in here, that's why. All right. I did want to mention this thing on web APIs from W3 Schools. I started going through this, and it's very well done. It's got some examples. There's browser APIs, history. It's got storage, worker. It's got fetch. All right. So it's got a fetch example in here, and it's got some really good stuff in it. I would strongly recommend that you go through that. Again, that's at w3schools.com/js/API_intro.asp. And if I did that too fast, there it is. I can even blow it up more than that. 72 would probably be too big, but let's see. I guess not. All right. So I'd strongly suggest that you have a look at that if you get some time. All right. So as we peruse our way through this, create 3 variables that hold references to the UL, the input, and the button elements. So where is that? That's right here. That should be, by now, that should be pretty much second nature to you. All right. This is saying our variable called list is going to grab a reference to the first unordered list. There's only one in here. It's right there. All right. Our input to the only input, which is right here. And our button to the only button, which is right here. All right. Okay. Create a function that will run in response to the button being clicked. Well, that's this. And you already know this, but there's multiple ways of doing this. All right, so it's saying here, when we click that button, we want this to run. So we've got a thing called myItem, and it's equal to input.value. Well, what's input? That is what we put into the text box. All right. And then we are immediately clearing what was in the text box, so we're clearing it out. So we can put a comment in here that says, grab value from text box. Next, clear text box. Okay. All right. Then what are we doing? We're taking whatever we had put in, whatever into that list box, or that, I'm sorry, into that text box, and we're going to be creating an LI item. We're going to be creating a span item, and we're going to be creating a button. Those variables will be held in these 3 things here. All right. Now, the next thing we're saying is append onto this the span tag. All right. Then grab the my item, which is this, and put it in there. Then give it a button afterwards, and that button should say delete. Now, one of the things I was mentioning is we really would probably also want to go in here and do something like this. This should work. So I'm going to put in here edit. All right, and I'm going to put in here edit button. Now, for that to actually work, I'm going to have to come in here and let's see, we've got list button here and there. And we want to create one for that too. So this will be edit btn. All right, and it'll also be a button, and it'll say edit. Now, let's see if I changed it. Sure hope I did. I closed everything, so that's okay. We'll run it again. And now notice if I come in here and I put in eggs and I click, all right, well, it didn't work the way I wanted it to work, but probably I think that's for two reasons. One is I didn't do the CSS for it, all right, and I didn't put the text in there either. So let's go back and do this. So what do we have here? So here's the button, LI for a button. All right, and let's see. LI span, button. List button. That should go there. And I don't want the list button content. I want the edit button content here to be edit. All right. And then I want to do this. Not sure if it's getting there or not getting there. So let's refresh. And I don't know, waffles. There's our edit and there's our delete. Now the delete works. The edit won't do a flaming thing right now. So if I say corn, the edit doesn't do anything because we have not programmed it to do anything. All right. So let's keep going on here. So I did create the function. I stored the value in there. We emptied it. Yep. We created the new elements, the list item, the span, and the button. Appended, attach an event handler. Finally, we use the focus. All right, I'm going to leave that as a thing for you. All right. Then if you press that, well, what do we want to have happen? So if we click delete, we want to remove it. All right. So we'll also want in here for edit button dot, spell it correctly, edit button dot on click equal function e. And what do we want? We don't want to remove it. We want to take whatever that, we want to be able to edit it. So we're going to have to take a look at DOM buttons to methods to, all right, so modifying DOM elements. Let's actually modify them. Okay. We'll come back and talk about this. All right, that's it for this particular section. So I want to go on next into fetching data from the server, but I will go back. All right. And as of right now, I've got it partially working. So again, if I come in here and put in peas and click add item, got peas, got my edit button, got my delete button. Delete works. And what we want to have happen is when we press edit, we want the word peas to appear in here. And if we put that in and click add item, we want it to be added as a new item, and we want this one to be removed. Does that all that make sense? I'm running way over, so I'm going to stop right now.